Apotheiid is about the death of the Greek warrior Achilles and his journey through the underworld. This story started with an idea I had when I was at USC last summer, and I had this idea of the Greek warrior Achilles in golden armor running on this desert plateau trying to surmount Mount Olympus, and the act of this character struggling. He had already been hit in the heel by the arrow, and this very intense adrenaline rush.
Go back, you hollow man.
Playing the god Apollo is epic. One, I had to shake my chest, which was quite the sacrifice. God Apollo makes sacrifices.
You will run Hades for what you've done. I know you fear it.
Achilles is a pretty complex guy, in a way. It's easy for me to play because I can really identify with that.
So the character of Homer actually really frightened me when I was kind of developing him, because I just had this idea of this old blind man who has this very dramatic and interesting performance, and I really kind of saw myself, in the tent with him, terrified against this giant lightning storm, and how this would, be exhilarating and exciting, but also terrifying to be in the presence of this character.
Με ενοχλεί η συνεχική δαιμονία σου! Δεν με καθοδηγήσεις τώρα! Χάνομαι!
He's a passionate writer, and the epic writer, which everyone else has tried to emulate, so he was a man of likely extremes. He was dramatic, but you have to be when you're a storyteller. If you're not dramatic when you're a storyteller, then it's really, you become a narrator, and they're two very different things.
I called my grandmother and my older brother, and we worked on the ancient Greek just from the ground up. Together we really kind of crafted this one really authentic, interesting character who we can completely dive into his imagination and kind of get lost in the story that he's telling. Mount Olympus, massive thunder and noise and all these elements that are kind of coming together.
Okay.
It's amazing sound.
All right, let's try it.
I also love the idea of Homer as a director almost, as kind of conducting this story. The character of Athena is really interesting. She is the goddess of wisdom and war, very composed and statuesque.
It's really about justice for her, and that's really attractive to me. She will fight if that's what it comes down to, physical fighting, but otherwise she's looking for another means of resolution. I think it's beautiful that she's been guardians of civilization with that as her theory.
And that you are the son of Zeus!
Cordy was delightful to work with, and amazing. His enthusiasm is intoxicating. Also, just his level of professionalism was incredible. Everything worked like clockwork. Everything was on schedule. And that rarely happens when you're doing a student film or on a feature film.
I find Cordy's imagination actually a very fun adventure for me. Really, that's the world that we all get to play in.
He really does have a vivid and wild imagination, which is a huge asset to have as a filmmaker. What you see on the screen is exaggerated, hyper-realistic version of the world as Cordy sees it, and I think he really does have that ability to captivate with an idea. And along with that, he has an unbounded enthusiasm and a real sense of perseverance, and I love that. And people who know Cordy love that, and they see that that's really the quality that allows him to bring these really vivid visions to life through film.
I'd say we've got a star filmmaker on our hands.
Thanks for having me on, man.
I couldn't have asked for a better experience.
I love my actors. They were really the best part of this movie, and I think together we really brought this thing to life. This what makes filmmaking and seeing movies a fantastic experience, because it's the point where the imagination of the audience and the imagination of the director are really aligned.